Thought today would be a perfect day, or perfect morning, to do a reading of my Dweller series. So I'm going to do a reading of the first book of the series. So my setup isn't too great today because I've just come back and I've got everything everywhere. I think that's better. I've just come back and I've got everything everywhere. So this is the reading of The House on the Hill. The House on the Hill is the first book is a prequel to the Dwellers Beneath the Arches series. And I wrote it because I wanted to add another element to the books, and it helped with introducing a backstory to the books as well. Okay, so I've never actually done a live reading before on video. Usually when I've done it, it's been in person, and I've always had people around to help me with stuff, so just bear with me. So this is The House on the Hill, okay, and it's a prequel to the Dwellers Beneath the Arches series. It's a free prequel. The rain lashed against the window panes as the storm raged outside, threatening to shatter them, but the windows resisted the onslaught, fighting the overwhelming downpour as the water cascaded down the stained glass, showing up in a myriad of reds, azure blues, and deep greens. The wind, not to be left out, added to the chaotic storm as it whistled ferociously and rattled the window looking to the east. The sound resembled the clattering of bones, nerve-wracking and unsettling. It was early November, cold and very wet. There we go. In London, the weather enough to dampen even the strongest of spirits. The rain had persisted for days, and the sounds of the wintry weather had become just another noise in the fabric of the city. The man remained at his desk, unperturbed by the chaotic humdrum that he was surrounded by. It soothed him somewhat. The desk lamp beside him casting a bright glow across the room and illuminating the parts it did not cast into shadow. Winter had arrived in the vast city, and it was threatening to be a long one. The offending window rattled again, but he was not concerned. He smiled, feeling a warmth across his body as he took a sip of brandy. The building he was in was colossal and very old, Georgian, and rattles and shakes were part of its architecture. He put the brandy glass to his lips, inhaling its contents. So this has got a delay. Before tipping it all into his mouth. The warm liquid soothed him and calmed his belly. He dared to look at the time. It was late into the night, almost 2 a.m. It was not his usual habit to sit in his offices until that late, but a lot was at stake that evening, and he was awaiting an important announcement. He wondered if the doctors had got it wrong. They were prone to mistakes after all, and nature could never be predicted or rushed. They were only human. He thought of the sleepy Drummond who would be waiting in the car down below, uniform cleaned and ironed, ready to work on what was supposed to be his day off. His secretary, Mrs. Fox, was also on standby. How many employers would have staff ready to work into the night, even though they were being handsomely rewarded for their trouble? There was an urgent knock on the door. It opened, and Mrs. Fox stood there. Her office was brightly lit, and the light followed her into his office, making his eyes hurt. She looked at him, the beginnings of a smile on her face. "It's time, sir." Her words had a strong effect on him. The hairs on the back of his neck tingled. His body was awoken by an excitement he did not know he possessed. Nodding, he got unsteadily to his feet and grabbed his jacket from the back of his chair. Before he left, he would need another glass, to get him through the night. He made his way to the drinks cabinet and switched on the little light, which illuminated the varying coloured bottles. His eyes searched for something strong. Now, more than ever, he needed courage, and he was not ashamed to use alcohol as a crutch. 2 rows down, right in the middle, Mrs. Fox suggested. His eyes followed her instructions. There it is, he thought excitedly. He poured himself a drink and downed the contents of the glass, his hand trembling slightly as he replaced the glass on a nearby table. Mrs. Fox was waiting by the door, ever patient, and with his coat and scarf in her hands. A thought occurred to him as she helped him into his coat. Am I doing the right thing, I wonder? Could his interference make matters worse? Perhaps he should have left things as they were. Of course not, sir. You're most certainly doing the right thing. Think of the life that awaits, Mrs. Fox assured him. Nodding in agreement, he made his way out of the offices and down below to where the security guard, Gladstone, sat looking suspiciously alert in the graveyard hours. Sir? Gladstone. A black Mercedes was waiting outside, its hazards blinking in the dark night. He wondered why Drummond had bothered, since it was the only car for several streets. The heavy rain continued. It would slightly delay their journey, but they could still make it in good time. Drummond was a competent chauffeur. As he stepped out into the cold and rain, he looked up past the Gothic structures of the buildings surrounding him to the sky above, realizing he was about to do something beyond his purview. All that met him was silence. There was no flash of light in the sky, no lightning striking him, no thunder, just resounding silence. It seemed the universe had no answers for his plight. Drummond emerged from the vehicle to meet him, carrying a large umbrella. Good evening, sir. Evening, Drummond. The door was opened and he slid into the vehicle. The smell of the leather seats was more pungent than ever and filled the car. It was mixed with a faint smell of tobacco. He inhaled. It was a brand Drummond used from the Caribbean, some Nicaraguan type. Drummond climbed into the driving seat. Where to, sir? Drummond already knew where to go, but it was customary for him to ask, lest his employer had changed his mind and decided not to go after all. But a lot was resting on tonight, and he could not change his mind. It was too late. He was committed to a course of action and had given his word. There was no turning back now. Okay, 1 second. Bow, the same address. Drummond nodded stiffly, his silhouetted figure rigid as he followed the man's orders, even though he might not necessarily have agreed with them. The low roar of the engine in the storm was ominous and chilled the man. He gazed out the window as the car moved into the dark night, its black contours travelling along the abandoned streets, like some prowling animal with yellow eyes. It's time, the man said, even though he had no reason to explain himself. His words held a solemn urgency. Drummond was silent as he navigated the long vehicle around a tricky corner. The man knew it was not the road that troubled him. He had come to realize his chauffeur had ethics, and certain acts to him were wrong. The man glanced at his watch. It was almost 2:15 a.m. He smiled. The arrival was more inopportune and inconvenient. Perhaps this particular project would be a challenge after all, just what they needed. A warm feeling enveloped him. Doing a good deed was the highlight of his day. Okay, so that was the first bit. I think I should have done some crowd control around the chat, so let me do that now. No. I really should have done this before, but I didn't think, so live chat is off, Let's try that, that should work. So that means I'm going to have to come back and edit the live stream. Great. He knew they had left the city of London and the Thames well behind when the large gargoyle-topped grey brick Gothic buildings with their Victorian lights were replaced by small terraced houses. They were making their way through the streets of East London. The area was a confused mix of upmarket bars and pubs, with expensive liquors and artisan bakeries. Graffiti decorated some of the properties, and a few bulks lined the streets, the homeless and destitute. As the car moved past the little canal, which ran parallel to some 3-story terraced houses, he marvelled at the differences that divided and united the East End and its occupants. A few shadowy figures lurked in a dark street corner, making sure to avoid the streetlights as some young women emerged from a restaurant a few metres away and hastily jumped into a waiting hackney carriage. He smiled sardonically, amused by the thrill-seekers who were attracted to the vices of the East End when it suited them, but found it inconvenient at other times. The man gazed around proudly. He was in his element on these streets, although his present status now hid his humble beginnings. These were the places where he had survived as a young teen, after his mother had moved with him from Glasgow. The East End of London was a teacup ride at a fun fair compared to the north of Glasgow, where he had been born. But his old life was behind him now. His present position hid the horrors of his upbringing. "Approximately 10 minutes away, sir," Drummond quietly announced. The man nodded appreciatively. His chauffeur obviously understood the trepidation he was feeling at the monumental task that lay ahead of him that night. The younger man had been in his employ for 15 years and had seen it all with him, yet remained ever loyal and unwavering in his support of him, even in the instances when he had not agreed with his decisions. Just like his secretary, Mrs. Fox. Then again, he had been a tremendous help in those early years when he first met them. First to Mrs. Fox, who had been going through alcohol and opiate addiction and had lost custody of her 2 young children, delightful twin boys. The day before a court hearing, she had fallen asleep at the wheel of her car and drove into a crowded bus stop, killing a young boy. Things had got much worse for her before they got better, until he saw her file and stepped in to help. He acted as a guide and mentor, letting her know what was possible in her world, what she was truly capable of. Now, she was reunited with her sons, in a stable, high-paying job in his employ, and more of an asset to him than he felt he'd been to her. Okay, so I'm going to pause that there. The chat is on subscribers only mode as well, so I didn't know you were going to have people repeating the same thing over and over again. So this short story is roughly around, I would say 6,000 words, and I wrote it as a prequel to the Dwellers Beneath the Arches series. So just to explain further, this is the Dwellers series. It's probably back to front or something, because I'm using my front-facing camera, not my proper camera on the phone. And I wrote The House on the Hill just as a prequel to The Dwellers, because I'd actually written the first book, but there were slight questions about one of the characters, And these questions didn't need to be answered immediately. They weren't that crucial. But it gave an opportunity to write this series and write this particular book and use it as a prequel for the actual series. So I would say that if you're working on a series or working on a book, it always helps to have as many backstories as you can, or seize upon your characters and write whatever you can to aid the story along. Because I didn't realize it, but when a lot of the readers read the prequel, so the prequel is only available on ebook, it's only available on ebook copy. When they read the first series, and they asked about the prequel, and then when they went back to read the prequel, and a lot of readers actually did like it, because I think that there is a lot of mystery and suspense in it as well. Okay, so that was what was just fun about it to write. I haven't finished. It's quite a long prequel, so it's going to take probably 2 more sessions to read. But when I finish with all the readings, I'm going to put them all into one video, so they're just available for anyone subscribed to the channel, or anyone who is on the channel to actually watch and read through. And I'm going to add snippets of videos just to aid the story along, because I think it's quite a fascinating story. It's sad, but it's fascinating as well, and it tells of the origins of one of these characters in the books. So I didn't know that it was going to get so chaotic on the live chat. I thought, it would be a quiet Monday morning, but I think you do get people coming on the chat, just wanting to speak as much as possible, just wanting attention. So next time I'll just put it on subscribers only mode. I think that works a lot better. Right, so I hope everyone's doing well and writing very well and enjoying writing as well. I've been away for a week. I've been on holiday. So I tried to get as much writing done when I was on holiday. However, it was pretty tough because I think when you're on holiday, you're constantly being interrupted by family and friends. And I didn't get as much done as I would have liked. Hello, David. How are you? I didn't get as much writing done as I would have liked. So I have a lot to catch up on. So if anyone is working on anything in particular, on any stories, and they'd like to share anything about their stories, please do. Yeah, it was a very good trip, Kat. It was amazing. I'm just still a bit exhausted from it, from all the traveling. If not because it was a long journey, it was only a 6-hour flight, but I chose to take the romantic route through the from one country to the next to catch my flight. I don't know why I did that, because I thought it would be a really sweet and romantic journey, but it was horrible. I never knew train journeys could be so traumatic. And all my ink has seized up as well. So it's still liquid, but all the tops have seized. I don't know why. Yeah, it was very, very dramatic by train. You don't realise how many troublemakers who you get on a train until you're actually on a train. People did some horrific things on the train, so that was quite surprising to see. I went to Nigeria, that's where I'm from. Ah, this is opening. So why isn't... I went to Nigeria, and that was really cool. I decided to take a 10-hour train to catch a 6-hour flight, which was a really bad idea. I hope everyone is doing well in their part of the world, and writing and all the creativity's been going well as well. Yeah, this isn't opening. I do need to do some maintenance on mine. Yeah, that needs to go. I know a few people were working on stories, but I don't think they're online now. Are you still working on any stories, Kat? Oh, wow. Okay, so this is very, like, stuck on. I have an idea for this. Actually, probably not. You finished them last year? Oh, amazing. Amazing. Oh, that is so good. I've noticed, I've been reading Think and Grow Rich, The One and Your Heart Belongs. Think and Grow Rich, The One and Your Heart Belongs to Me. Okay, so Think and Grow Rich. Okay, I get that. Oh, right, Think and Grow Rich, The One and Your Heart Belongs to Me. Gotcha, okay. I was wondering, I thought The One and Your Heart Belongs to Me belonged to Think and Grow Rich. That was interesting. That was very funny. What am I reading at the moment? I'm reading, actually, I lie, I'm not reading a book. I'm proofreading a speech at the moment, and it's quite a long speech given by someone I know. They have to go before the European Council or whatever and give a speech, so I'm helping them proofread it, which is, you know, rather fun to do. So I'm reading that. What else am I reading? I'm still reading some Edgar Allan Poe, and I've started reading The Spider King. I don't know if you've heard of The Spider King. Well, I've started reading that. I always get the title wrong. I always say the Spider King's daughter. For some reason, I just call it the Spider King. It's the Spider King's daughter. I've started reading that. However, it's more of a romance genre, so I don't really like romance, but I'm powering through with it. Yes, it's a public speaking engagement, and I'm helping them edit a very, very elaborate speech. And it's not just one person, there's several speakers, so there's one, two, three. I have about 7 speeches at the moment. The time traveler idea I mentioned before intrigued me. Oh, was that one of your time traveling? Was that during the prompts? I think that's what you mean. Yeah, I bought it because it's The Spider King's Daughter by Chibundu Onizo. And I bought it because, when it first came out, the trad world was raving about it and they were going on about it. And I thought, oh, this sounds fascinating. So I went to have a look, and I thought it would be more fantasy or dark because it's titled The Spider King's Daughter, but it ended up being a romance. I don't mind romance. I think everyone should read romance, but I don't like reading romance. I don't know why. Yeah, it is a lot of speeches. As you know, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I think there's a lot going on in Europe at the moment because that's where I am. I'm in Central Europe, and people want to be able to get their points across in as eloquent and as straightforward a manner. And for a lot of these people, English is not their first language. So they want to talk about it and they want to just make sure that their points are brought forward as well as possible. Yeah. Too much going on. Oh yeah, there's always been a lot going on. I think it's never been particularly quiet. I think that people just have more access to media now and media sources, and yeah. About sports inventions, I believe I do have that somewhere. You're in the USA. You're going to be busy then, yeah. You're going to be extremely busy. All the news coming through on my social media feed is all based in the US. Well, obviously YouTube is US based, and you do have an option where you click on it or not. So I remember your time traveling. An arrow is discovered embedded into a tree. Now you claim you're a small body. Imagine a world. Time traveling. I wonder if I wrote it down. I think I did because I wrote most of them down. A witch moves a man. Is this a man introduces a sport in the future that hasn't been invented yet? Is he who he says he is, or can he travel across time? I think that's yours, David, because that was very futuristic and time traveling. Yeah, that was yours. Yeah. That's a very male perspective, actually, because only a man would think of a sport that hasn't been invented yet. And that's a mystery, yeah. Yeah, that was quite an interesting. So I think for one of the live streams, we're going to pick up a writing prompt. I don't know if I should do it on a live stream or on a video, because I have different people who watch the videos and different people who follow the live streams. It's two very different groups, and I didn't realize that. And YouTube has split it all across the board. So I'm thinking of doing a writing prompt, and we all put a story together in possibly a live stream to begin with. But I hope everyone is doing well and letting their creativity guide them through this time. Because I think one thing is, whenever everything has been in turmoil, whether it's politics or the world or invasions or whatever's going on, I think it's always important to read and just submerge yourself in your creativity. Because I think that's when you possibly need the creativity more than ever, in my opinion. And that's where you get some fantastic ideas. But the world doesn't always burn. It stops once in a while. Okay, so that was pretty much my first book reading. I wanted to see how it would go. So I've got to go back and review the live stream and see if the mic was loud enough and if I need to perhaps change setting, because I do read these, like it's 5:45 a.m. here now. I do wake up very early in the morning, and I need to figure out if I need to do the live stream, the readings at a different time, because right now my energy is very, not low, it's very peaceful, and I'm not sure that's good for reading or not. It might be a bad idea for reading, so I need to review this entire footage when it's uploaded by YouTube, and then I will know. But at the moment, my energy is very, very calm. In the mornings, my energy is always like calm and just steady, and I'm less excitable. And my voice is always monotonous as well in the mornings. Okay, so the live streams will be going back. Hello, Sleeping Willow. The live streams will be going back. Oh, it's alright, you can always play it back later. No one's ever late for anything, because the live streams just stay up anyway. So that's fine. But it was more like a 15-minute, 16-minute reading, and it was just to test it all out anyway. But I'm going to do a much longer one when I was just explaining, I have to review the footage and see how the footage plays out, and if I was too low or too high or whatever, because I'm in a very, very large room with not much in the form of acoustics or, cozy reading space. Yeah, you can play it back. You can always play it back. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. And if anyone has any ideas for what they want to see in the live streams, let me know as well, because I have certain ideas for live streams. But what would you like to see? Because obviously Monday now is a live stream day. So it's Monday my time, Monday morning. But if you'd like to see anything in the live streams, let me know. I have writing prompts, write with me. So writing prompts, write with me, and possibly live readings now. So yeah, if you do want to see anything in particular, please do let me know. The live readings are very enjoyable. Okay, that's good. Thank you for that. Thank you for the feedback. I'll try and make it a more cozy setting, because right now I'm just at my writing desk. And my writing desk is where I always am. And usually, like, you know when some people do live readings, it's very dramatic with candles and everything. Believe it or not, this building, so a lot of people don't like candles here. They just freak out about it. I don't know. Well, they just freak out about it. So because I really love candles, and I was going to add candles, but because I have I love my little, sorry, I like to show these at every opportunity. I like to have those. I have lots of these dotted around my flat, but people are very, well, I mean, we are in a high-rise building as well, so I can sort of see their concern. Because it's a high-rise building, and you definitely do not want a fire in a high-rise. That would be a disaster. I'd love to not only see you write, but I think it would be fabulous if you also verbally talked us through your writing and processes. Yeah, that is something that I find quite, not difficult. I find it a bit challenging to do, because that's why I say writing is immersive. Because once I start writing, so I wrote this yesterday. Yeah. I wrote these pages yesterday, and I just started and I didn't stop. And once I start writing, I find it very, very difficult to stop. It's really interesting. I find it difficult to stop and talk about what I'm writing about. And I think that's just a skill that I have to master, because I think it is interesting to know about the processes and what I'm thinking at the time, and where my thought process is taking me. But I don't think I think much when I write, which sounds ridiculous. I think I'm thinking, but I'm thinking too quickly. And I just sort of put words down, and luckily they happen to make sense. But yeah, we could do that as well. This is your time to just kind of vibe with us. The top view angle I like. Yeah, because the top view angle. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that, which is interesting because sometimes it's hard to read what I'm writing, because my writing is very light, so you can't actually read it, which I think would make things a bit difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to So this lovely glass pen is still going strong. I absolutely adore it. Once again, I don't have a tissue. Just wipe on my trousers. Yeah. Since childhood, I just wipe things on my clothing. I just don't care. That's fine. You have a great gift to be able to let the words and ideas flow so effortlessly. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Sleeping Willow. How do you store all the pages? I love the concept, but can never keep it organized. Let me bring out Exhibit A. This is why I say to people that I like to write maybe I have 70 handwritten pages. I like to transfer them to my laptop gradually and not try and this is how I store my pages. This is heavy. I actually don't like lifting it up so often. So this is everything that's been written but hasn't been typed up, right? This is where the madness begins. All this has been written, that stack there, that stack there. Oh, I have this lovely stack here. Oh yeah, this is a big fat one, but it hasn't been typed up. And this is more for Heathens. So this is a 7-book series, yeah. But I'm also including other short stories, and my short stories are here somewhere. I'm also including other short stories and ideas as well, because I never only write books. I write short stories as well. Oh yeah, this is one of the worst ones. But this, I'm working through it gradually. And this is from a book I started about 13 years ago. But I'm so in love with the story that I know it's going to make it an amazing book. It's going to be an amazing story because already a lot of it is written down, but I just want to finish it. And it's something I started but is yet to be finished. And you need something like this, an accordion folder with all the different tabs, you know, the colors, and it's all color-coded and everything. And you can just put your book, your scripts in each folder. Left it from the bottom. And that's it. I'm off to bed. It's so wonderful to interact and enjoy your company. Have a fantastic Monday, and I hope to visit with you soon. Thanks for sharing your time. Thank you, Sleeping Willow. That's a lovely message. So yeah, that's how I store all my paperwork. And you have to really be organized about writing everything down. Sometimes labeling what you write. So this is all about my character, Ian. Labeling what you write and just put it in away. So this is for Heathens, and this is for book 3. And then whilst I was in, I wrote this yesterday. I did a lot of scribbling whilst I was away, and that ended up being 20 pages of something. So I've put that away as well. So you just have to have a good organized system of organizing it, and that's it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go for a quick walk, get some coffee, and then I don't have much on today, but go for a quick walk and get some coffee, and go through some speeches, and send some emails. And I will see you all. I have a video coming out later today, so hopefully that'll be interesting. It's how I world build. If you didn't have this show, I wouldn't be aware of this. You mean the channel? If I didn't have the live stream? Yeah, YouTube is fascinating. It makes it really hard to discover channels through videos alone. But that's why, in a lot of cases, live streaming really works, because it brings you a new audience. Sometimes it's live, as you've seen sometimes, live streaming can be chaotic, and you have to be very good at just dealing with the weird and the wonderful. But as long as you can do some crowd control, block a few people, ban a few people, just control the crowd, then it's fine. Live streaming is a way to gain a whole new audience, okay? Right, so I'll see you in the next live stream. And yeah, have a lovely day, everyone. Keep writing, keep creating, keep reading. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. See you soon, David. Bye, Cat. Oh, this phone's getting really hot. Raffles.